When Bob Baillie lost his eyesight in 2007, he didn't know it then, but that news would set the wheels in motion for him to change the life of a special little girl named Cricket. This is their story. Bob was enjoying his life in North Carolina until a routine bypass surgery changed everything.
I was never made aware of the fact that you could go blind. And during the surgery, the surgeon made a mistake. And when I woke up a couple of weeks later, somebody turned the lights out. And they've been out permanently ever since.
Shortly after, Bob made his way to the Canada-based MIRA Foundation, which trains guide dogs for the blind, and they granted Bob a furry new friend named Devon. It also gave him a new mission in life, resulting in the birth of MIRA Foundaion USA.
My whole focus is MIRA. And what we can do for children, what this dog has done for me, I'm hoping that we can do for a lot of other children.
Half a world away in China, Cricket, now 11 years old, was born blind and was later abandoned. Cricket never got to experience the love of a real family until adoptive parents Cliff and Sally Beidelman came into her life. In Cricket, they didn't see a blind orphan. Instead, they saw a courageous little girl.
The agency contacted us and said they had a wonderful little child. She was very intelligent, she was funny, she was spirited, she seemed to have an almost photographic memory. And then they told us that she was blind. And so we thought about that, and it didn't seem a barrier because the other parts of her humor, her intelligence, and her spirit seemed so much more important to us. And we guessed right because we adopted her, and she has just been a remarkable light to our family.
Cricket is just like any other 11-year-old. She likes to ride her bike, play with her family, and has already mastered several musical instruments.
There's an after-school program that my music teacher does, and he asked me if I wouldn't mind playing trumpet. So I said okay, and then he was wondering why I wasn't in his orchestra class, and I said I didn't know it would fit into my schedule, and he invited me to play cello in his orchestra. So I said okay to that too.
But despite all of these accomplishments, it's Cricket's smile, kind spirit, and generosity that make her the amazing person that she is.
I will always remember the first time I saw Cricket because this tells all about her personality. The first time I saw her, she was brought to our hotel room by a lady from the orphanage, and she wore a quilted pink jacket that was torn and dirty. And she came up to me, and she spoke only in Mandarin Chinese, and she reached into her pocket, and she handed me a piece of hard candy, and she pressed it into my hand. And then she went to my son and did the same thing. And to our whole family, she gave us pieces of hard candy because that was her gift to us.
As Cricket grew, so did her independence. Wanting her daughter to enjoy her childhood to the fullest, Sally began to search for a guide dog through specialized agencies. But to Sally and Cricket's dismay, they quickly learned that none of these agencies would cater to children under the age of 16, except for one.
We found out about MIRA, that MIRA was actually an agency in Canada that did provide guide dogs for younger children based on their abilities. And so we contacted MIRA in Canada, and our folder eventually made its way down to North Carolina, to MIRA USA. Bob Baillie contacted us by phone, and we were just thrilled that there was a chance that somebody would weigh Cricket's merits, not based on her age, but based on her mental and physical abilities.
First of all, the MIRA Foundation in Canada is the only foundation in the world that does dogs for children. They're the only ones. And we've got the ability now to bring this service to the United States. And we are the only ones in the United States that will train dogs for children.
Cricket and Sally have just learned from MIRA USA that she will be the youngest person in the United States to receive a guide dog.
I don't have the words. It's emotional. I couldn't see what happened, obviously, but I know everybody was crying. Me too. But it changes people's lives. That's kind of special. That's very special.
Special doesn't begin to describe this little girl or the organization that has given her a new outlook on life.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bailey and Mira. I don't know how to thank you enough.
From my heart and from Cricket's heart, to Mira, to Mr. Bailey, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.